evening and welcome to another edition of the Daily Deuce. I'm Gary Graves from just outside Louisville, Kentucky, and in Maryland, where it is smoggy and smoky from what I hear. John, I hope you're being careful. My good friend, longtime esteemed colleague, John Webster. How you doing, man? You staying safe?
Gary, man, how you doing? Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing great. It is smoggy out here. Uh, I thought I had fog on my windshields, man. It's smoke coming from all the way from Canada. And Kim
It's
told me
no joke.
yesterday because I was going out for a walk. She said, "No, you're not. No, you're not." I said, "Why? What's wrong?" She says about the air quality and everything is over 200. It's a red day. Today's a purple day. And she said, if you listen to more than ESPN, you know what's going on in the world. So at that point, I just said, thank you, hon. I appreciate it. No problem. No problem.
She she has a point, but she's looking out for you. I've never seen anything like that, to be quite honest. It was like we got a taste of it here on Monday and Tuesday, where I just said, man, that had to be the reddest sunset I can recall, and it just seemed hazy all day. And then they finally said what it was, but you all got it much worse than we got it here.
I think the air quality today was like 236 or something like that. And then
Yeah.
they're talking today was a purple day. If we get rain tomorrow and a little bit of wind, maybe that'll clear it up some. It probably won't be right again until next month, this Sunday and next Monday. So
Yeah, well, be
we'll see, man.
careful for both of you. So, our traffic cop, John Pitt, how you doing, man? We couldn't get it done without you. I'm glad that you're with us today.
Yeah, man, just staying inside, trying to avoid the smoke.
Hey, nothing like a great excuse to not mow the lawn, right?
That's right. You got it.
Yeah. Hey, we got a lot to talk about, but let's just get right into it. Game 3, NBA Finals last night. Denver took a 2-1 lead over the Miami Heat with really historic performance by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Both of them had 30-point triple doubles. And I guess let's just talk about Jokic. Let's see, it was what, 32 points, 21 rebounds and 10 assists. Yeah, Jamal had something like 34 points, maybe. I forgot how. I think he had like 10 and 10. They have a 2-1 lead, but I won't say until it's 3-1 that they're in control of this series. But after a game like that, and it was a close game for nearly 3 quarters, and they just broke it open, and they went on a rebounding clinic, pretty much for that fourth quarter. I think it was something like, I want to say it was a double-digit edge in rebounds, even though it was still a close finish. But John, I don't know. Those people that voted for Joel Embiid for MVP, I wonder if they're rethinking that now after that kind of performance.
Hey, it is what it is. I mean, Joel Embiid in his own right is a very, very good player, just like Jokic is. They're both very great players. Interesting game last night. Gary, I'm a believer that so far this has been a series of adjustments. And the first game, Miami won. I'm sorry, Denver won. Miami didn't get to the foul line but 2 times. If I'm not mistaken, it wasn't even Jimmy Butler. I don't think Jimmy Butler went to the foul line. Game 2, Miami won. They made an adjustment where they were driving to the basket. They got to the foul line. Strus and Martin were scoring. Strus, I think, was in double figures and hit some 3-point shots. Neither one of them scored in the first game. Then also, Miami came out with a matchup zone in the second half, mainly in the fourth quarter, and that gave Denver a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Last night, another adjustment. Denver said, okay, we got to figure a way to get the ball into Jamal Murray's hand, because in game 2, they put Butler on Murray, and that caused a lot of problems for Murray. So you started dribble handoffs. to get Murray the ball. You started picks higher ups to get him free. And you saw what the outcome was. Also, Denver out rebounded Miami last night by 25, if I'm not mistaken. It was some crazy number.
It was a clinic.
Yeah. And for me, Gary, defense, rebounding are about heart, grit, and hustle. And last night, Denver out hustled Miami and got loose balls and got rebounds. I think it'll be another adjustment on Friday. And I still say this series is going 7 games. I think Miami's going to make an adjustment where on the rebounding side, you're not going to see that again. Spoelstra is a very good coach, just like Mike Malone's a good coach. They both have been making adjustments. And I think Spoelstra is going to make an adjustment to get more rebounds, cut the rebounding edge down. But also you got to go back and look at what you got to make work. You got 2 very, very, very good players in Murray and Jokic. You can't let them both go crazy. All right, last night they combined for 60-some points, and throwing the assist, that's another 20 points. So that's 80 points of what did they score? What did they score last night? 114?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think.
Okay, they scored. They had a hand in 80 of the 114. I didn't go too far in school in math. You figured out that's a high percentage that they were involved in as far as points. Mm-hmm. I think Miami makes an adjustment. We go back to what happened in game 2. Jokic can get it. You're gonna have to not let him. You got to play him one-on-one and double everywhere else. He will score his 35 or 40, but you can't have everybody else like Murray just going off. You got to pick your poison. You also got to tighten up on your matchup zone, make it harder for him. And Jimmy Butler himself said the whole team, not just him, but he said the effort. They need to pick up the effort. They need to pick up the intensity. You are a less talented team than Denver. They are a smaller team than Denver. But that doesn't mean they can't win the series. But with both of those things being in play, they have to play hard all the time and make sure every possession counts.
Yeah. The thing that really impressed me with Denver last night, that if you recall, it was a close game, no more than maybe I'll say 2 possessions for pretty much, like midway through the third quarter. And then Denver gets a little bit, they string a couple more baskets together. Next thing you know, it's like a 10-point lead. And it grew to as many, I think, as like 19 or 20 points. And they went into the fourth quarter pretty much with a big edge. I want to say that it was probably about 15 points. They won by 15, but Miami kind of found its game in the fourth quarter. The thing about Denver that really impressed me wasn't just how well Joker and Jamal really just like fed off of each other. It was like, they did well in passing to each other. Denver did a fantastic job, and that's not hyperbole in terms of getting Jamal Murray open for shots. Because when Miami did try a matchup zone, it was like he created his own shot. Once he knocked down a 3, they seemed to come in bunches. I think he missed his first couple, but once he knocked down one, they started coming in bunches. And then when he was getting open and making those shots, he found his confidence, and yet he didn't take his eye off of the other thing in terms of getting the ball to Jokic. The way that those two really work off each other, it is impressive. The other impressive thing, they got others involved. You saw baskets by Jeff Green.
The kid from Kansas, Brown. The kid from Kansas.
Yeah, Brown. I was trying to remember him. I mean, you got complementary scoring. There was no doubt about who the primary guys were going to be. And if you're Miami, you've got your hands full now, because it's like, it's one thing you can say, well, I'm not going to let Joker beat me. Well, okay, you try to shut him down. Then you got Murray. You got two guys to try to worry about. Really, the ones that you should worry about are those other ones, because if you key on those two, that leaves them open, and they've shown they can go to the basket, and really go to the basket hard against somebody like Bam, who, comparatively is undersized, but he's got a reach. He can block some shots and he can grab rebounds, but they push the ball inside almost at will on Miami, and that's what they needed to do, that on the road, I think, for their own confidence, as well as really season momentum. And they took charge really on the boards, especially on the defensive end, over those last 12, 15 minutes.
You mentioned how Denver went on a run. Denver is always going to find a spurt or a time when they run off 15, 20 points. And when they did it in the third quarter, Miami did not answer that. And that's a problem. In the second game, Miami started up by 11, ended up down by 15, came back and cut it to 4 by halftime, was back down by 9 or 8 in the third, and came back and cut it and went ahead by 7-1 in regulation, by 3. But you have to answer their spurts. You have to. And if you don't answer it, like you saw last night, and they didn't answer it really in the third quarter, you go into the fourth quarter and you're playing catch up against a rough team to catch up against. And you brought up a good point. Some of the other players, Brown, Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., you can't have them going off and scoring. You have to keep them in check. And again, I'm choosing my poison. I'm stacking my defense so I can go against Murray. I'm probably going to do a lot of one-on-one and maybe come from the backside every now and then on Jokic. I'd rather make him score and maybe pass. That's the best thing. And the thing, you bring up a good point about Bam Adebayo. He's long, but also keep in mind, Gary, he is a power forward playing center.
True.
Miami does not have a true center when you look at it. You bring Kevin Love in the game. That's another power forward. There are not many teams in the league that can match up with what Denver brings from a size standpoint, and definitely from a Jokic standpoint. He's huge, and he's also a very good player, and he brings it each and every night. But I still think Miami wins tomorrow. I think Miami wins game 4, and it's going 7, and I'm sticking with the Heat, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking with the Nuggets because I do think that, last night showed how well they can play, or showed what happened when they play well. And they flex their strengths, especially, their size advantage. They really flexed those muscles. There wasn't anything Miami could do about it. And it wasn't just the rebounding. Miami didn't shoot well. So they really disrupted their flow in terms of the ball, really like getting in their face, altering shots. There was only that one play, I think, early on where I forgot who it was that fouled on the 3-pointer, and I'm screaming at the TV. It's like every time I see somebody fouled on a 3-point shot, I just get livid, like me and Jeff Van Gundy, because you just don't do that. It's like, how many times have you got to tell a guy, don't, if you're going to try to contest the shot, go straight up. Don't go at him. Go up, and try to block the shot. And they do it every time. But Denver's defense, such as it is, because we give them a whole lot of grief about their lack of defense because they've got so much offense. But they did enough to disrupt Miami with their size that you can't sleep on them if you're Miami. You got to make an adjustment. You got to figure out how to get around that size, Butler the ball, how to get Bam the ball, because people also forget Bam is a great inside scorer. If you saw a couple of those dunks last night for a power forward, He plays like a center, and it reminds me of a certain center used to play in Washington, excuse me, a certain forward who played center in Washington named Wes Unseld, who used his power not only to defend, but to go to the basket when he had to, especially later in his career. Alvin Hayes, kind of the same way. And that's how Miami is using Bam Adebayo. Miami just they have to get better at it. And that's all I can really say about it. Just shoot better and figure out a way to really limit Joker and maybe Murray and force other guys to really beat you.
And they got to find a way to reduce the rebounding disadvantage. They have to get more rebounds. Throughout these entire playoffs, Miami has been a team that's gotten a lot of second and third shots. They hit those boards hard. And I reiterate, rebounding, just like defense, is about hustle. It's about heart and grit.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move over to the national pastime or former pastime, Major League Baseball. And John, your Baltimore Orioles are playing well still into June. I think if you're playing well into June, you can play well into July and August. They're 6.5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays, who appear to be really trying to run away and hide from everybody, not just in that division, but really in baseball. They've got the major's best record. They've got 40 some wins. They've been consistent. I'm not ready to compare them to the 1984 Detroit Tigers, who started 35-5 and ran away with it. But they've been consistent all year. They've got hitting, they've got pitching, and really, they're just getting good coaching. They're excelling in all the areas. Do you think this could be the year that Tampa Bay really breaks through after threatening I'd say a few times over the last couple of years and going to the World Series in 2020?
Well, Gary, you know what I'm going to say? No, I hope not. It can't be. There's a black and orange team in Baltimore that needs to say something about this.
Yeah.
6.5 games.
They can speak up now, or else they're going to be holding their peace.
Well, we played Tampa Bay 10 more times this season, Gary. 10 more. And that's when you make up your difference. So until it's over, it's not over. Tampa is a very good team, very well managed. It's amazing how they do this almost each and every year, where it's a low budget organization. As soon as like a pitcher gets good, they hits the free agent market, go get paid, and then somebody else comes up from the farm system. They're good. They're tough. What's the guy's name? De La Rosa, the outfielder that plays for Tampa. Really, really great player.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Orioles, man. You know that. I've always been with the Orioles. And we're going to see what we can do. Now, there are some problems. No, there are some concerns, some challenges that are in Baltimore. The injuries. I'm a big proponent that they do not have an ace on their staff. Mm-hmm. They do not have a number one pitcher. And I'm also not in the majority who think when Means comes back, and he's very good. Let me first say that. John Means is good and will definitely help, but he's not an ace to me. He's a number two. Mm-hmm. They need a number one pitcher. They really need somebody number one. Means is going to help. I have to say, I'm not saying he's not going to help. He's very good, and he's left-handed as well. Also in the bullpen, they're struggling. They don't have a left-handed reliever that has nasty, wicked stuff that can come in and just shut you down. And I think that causes a problem for the Orioles because they have Cano and they have Bautista. And in my opinion, if you're throwing Cano in the 8th inning and Bautista in the 9th inning, you're going to be able to catch up to one of them sooner or later. Why? Both of them, one of them 6'4", throwing 95, 100 miles an hour. The other one's 6'7", 6'8", throwing 99, 102 miles an hour. So you know what's coming. Two big right-handers that are throwing nothing but smoke. If you were able to have a left-handed reliever come in the eighth inning and put Cano in the seventh, you couldn't really figure out what's going on because it'd be a different flight of the ball, different kinds of stuff coming at you. You know, Batista's going to come with a split finger fastball and then the other fastball. He's tough, but they become better if they get some left-handed relief pitching. That's a challenge. Right now, they've also become a little stagnant on the offensive side. They just had a road trip and they went 3-3. I can take that, but yeah, they should have beat Milwaukee in the first game. They came back today. They were losing 3-0. They ended up winning 6-3. I'll take that. Now you're coming home and you got Kansas City Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you got Toronto. 6 games, you need to win 4 or 5 of those 6. You know, because the other thing you got to realize, Tampa is not losing a lot. They're not. So you gotta find a way to pick up the steam because even when they're playing Boston or the Yankees, they're still getting wins. And you know.
Yeah. You know, with the New York Yankees, they've got concerns now with Aaron Judge being out possibly up to a month with a foot injury. I think it was a ligament sprain. He ran into the right field wall and through a latch door at Dodger Stadium. It really looked worse than it was, and you know, in terms of I mean, like, you know, just running into a wall.
It looked like the Incredible Hulk running into that wall.
Oh yeah, you know, you're talking about a guy who's like what 6'7" or something like that, and I think they said 6'7", 280. That's a big boy. That's a big dude. I won't say boy. And I forgot the comparison with Judge physically. You know, to some. Oh, I think it's like he weighs almost the same as Joker. That was the comparison, and he's 6'7" and really tightly packed. Again, he's got a foot injury and a toe injury, could keep him out for a month. I don't know what that really does for the Yankees because the Yankees still have enough hitting in that lineup that they can probably, you know, get through. Remember, you know, I mean, you know, Judge, I think was late coming in this year, you know, because of an injury. It's just that he gets hurt now after, you know, crushing something like 12 home runs over the last 18, 19 games. And you know, now they're finding their offense, and now he's out for a spell. I'm more concerned about the Yankees and whether they can weather this storm without Judge, without, you know, baseball's, you know, MVP and the AL home run king, and especially again with the way that Kevin Cash has Tampa Bay playing well in all phases. You know, again, it's like it could be a runaway for the Rays, but you know, the Orioles, everything that you said, they've got to do that because June is a pivotal month in baseball. It really is. You know, you could either, I think what they call it, the June swoon, and fall off from a quick start, or you can take off. And it's like if you're Baltimore, you still got them within sight, but you can't fall like 8.5 games behind. They're 6.5 now. A couple more games really could make a difference in terms of momentum. And like you said, they've got to win. That's what you said, 4 of 6, you know, these upcoming games, and they have to hope Tampa Bay, which faces Texas, and another, you know, well-improved team coached by or managed by Bruce Bochy, in the West. That's, you know, that's going to be a pivotal series between the Rays and the Rangers, and the Orioles have to take advantage if the Rangers get the best of Tampa Bay.
I hope the Rangers can. Bochy's a great manager, did some great things in San Francisco. I mean, going back to the Yankees, I mean, Judge is out, but I mean, come on, you still got Giancarlo Stanton, right? You still got him. You got the new kid just came up playing shortstop, Volpe. He's playing well. You still got Nelson Cortez on the mound. He's throwing well. The guy at first base used to be with the Cubs. I forget his name. He's a tough.
Kyle Schwarber. Yeah.
No, not Schwarber. Not Schwarber. Not Schwarber. Schwarber's with I think, what's his name? I can't think of the guy's name. He played with the Cubs. He played first base with the Cubs. He's playing first base with the Yankees now. I'll think of his name after the show goes off.
Of course,
But
that's what always happens.
but I mean, the Yankees are tough, and plus Houston's starting to play well now. Right now, the second and third wild cards are the Yankees and Houston. They're both tied with the same record, 36 and 20.
Anthony Rizzo. That's who it
That's
is.
it, Anthony Rizzo. Yeah, Anthony Rizzo. I mean, Judge is great. That's an MVP player, but let's not sleep on the rest of that Yankee team. This is how good the Yankees are. The Yankees cut Aaron Hicks, who the Orioles picked up, and because of the injury to Cedric Mullins. And Aaron Hicks has been a definite difference maker. Think about this now. This guy can play, but he couldn't play with the Yankees. They got so much talent in New York. He was DFA'd, so.
Yeah. As far as Schwarber, it just hit me now. It's like, he's playing for the Phillies. It's like there's so many former Nationals playing for the Phillies. When I was listening to a game the other night, and it's like Trey Turner lands there as a free agent. He's playing with Harper, who's healthy now, and Schwarber, who had a cup of coffee and got off to that great start before he got traded away in the Great Purge the other day. The Reds called up this high draft pick, Ellie De La Cruz. And I want to say he was like maybe their the number 2 overall pick in the draft. Kid's got great upside. He crushed the ball here in Louisville at the AAA level, got called up Sunday. Hit his first home run, and it traveled 458 feet at 115 miles an hour. If not for a fence at the top of the right field bleachers, that baseball might have landed in the Ohio River. And that's not hyperbole. 458 feet. I mean, he just absolutely crushed it. You and John Pitt saw the replay. And I mean, again, it was a moonshot. That ball left the yard so fast. The only thing they could just look at is where it was going to land, because it jumped off his bat so fast you couldn't follow it on camera.
I wouldn't mind seeing that again. I don't know if Pitt can find that, but that was an unbelievable moon rocket that he hit. And what'd you say, 115 miles an hour?
Yeah, they said that the exit velocity was 115 miles an hour off his bat. And
that's crazy.
And it landed like right at the top row of a Great American Ballpark. And that ballpark, once, there's like a walkway beyond the right field, and beyond that is nothing but water. I mean, it was like a Barry Bonds shot, and it was impressive. I think just the fact that thing just popped off his bat, and there was no doubt about it the second he hit it, that it was fun to watch that. And it was more fun listening to some of the speculation about what to do with that ball, because some guys that were like, I think they were sitting in the right field. They were sitting in the right field bleachers. One of them got the ball. Team came out and asked for the ball back, as what usually happens, custom in baseball. For a rookie or somebody hits his first major league home run, they'll ask for the ball back as a memento. But given that it was such a, it was like one of their bonus babies, so to speak, and because of just how hard he hit that ball, there was a lot more interest in it. So the question was, how much is that ball worth? Some of the discussion was that the guy that got the ball should have held out for $10,000 or season tickets or some, just something really exorbitant. He ended up settling for some gear, and he got all his boys that were with him framed baseballs. And there's a picture of them and De La Cruz with the ball and such. I thought it was a really cool gesture by by the player or by the Reds to do that for all of the friends. I also thought it was a cool gesture for the guy that caught the ball to not, ransom it as some people do. Of course, I mean, if I caught Aaron Judge's 60-second home run ball or something last year, I probably would have held on for more money. I forgot what it went for at auction, but when these kind of things happen, John, my question is, how much is a baseball truly worth?
Who knows, Gary?
I mean,
Who
if it's
knows?
you, like, let's just say, you being an Oriole fan, and let's just say your favorite player hits a home run or something. You catch a ball, he hits a home run that wins the pennant for him. What do you do with that ball? Do you keep it? Do you sell it?
Me, I'm keeping it. There's
All right.
no, there's no real, for me, there's no real price I'm looking at. Like if I'm take 20 years ago, Cal Ripken hits a home run, I'm keeping that ball. Eddie Murray hits a home run, I'm keeping the ball. Today, if Rushman hits a home run or Mullins hits a home run, I'm keeping the ball. For me, it's no value. Let me rephrase that. There is value in selling. I just don't have an interest in selling. I have an interest in collecting. Me and Pitt have talked about some of the things I've collected over the years, starting back when I was a kid, autographs and everything else. It's never crossed my mind to trade any of that stuff in for a dollar amount. It's more worth it to me to keep and hold on as keepsakes.
Yeah, I'm kind of that same camp, and I'll tell you why. The other night, I went to a gathering with Louisville's new football coach, Jeff Brom, and it was held at this museum downtown that has like a lot of great Kentucky history. They just have this new exhibit with Jack Harlow, the hottest thing in music right now. Well, besides Taylor Swift. But adjacent to that was a room, John, that you would love, and it had Kentucky Colonels memorabilia. Had a lot of basketball memorabilia, but
Mm-hmm.
the center display had old uniforms from the ABA Kentucky Colonels, which I've always been fascinated with, because you and I are of a certain age where we remember the ABA and how entertaining it was and how they challenged the NBA, and of course, gave us Dr. J, the San Antonio Spurs, the Nets, the Nuggets, and the Indiana Pacers. In Louisville, what might have been was if the Colonels, who were one of the more successful teams, along with the Nuggets in the ABA, should have been absorbed. That didn't happen, and now the city is left to try to get some kind of expansion team or relocation team. It's not going to happen in my lifetime, I believe, because of so many other factors. But it was good to see those uniforms, and it just reminded me that these uniforms were donated by someone who probably could have sold them, but he donated them to these people donated them to museums, and they were Gilmore jerseys and Dan Issel jerseys, which of course have special meaning, because
Dampier.
Okay. Oh, and Dampier, yeah, that's right, and Dampier, Louis Dampier. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, see. I'm a history buff, and that's why I really appreciated it. And I thought about you automatically because, you're a heavy investor in Mitchell and Ness, right?
We have a couple.
Yeah, that's putting it conservatively, but yeah, it's just fun when you have these kind of stories come up, because you really start to think about what sports means to to people, and what some things are considered valuable. I thought it was a little overdone that, a guy who's been in the major leagues all of like 2 or 3 days, and they're wondering whether his baseball should go on the market, should be, auctioned off for, for 10 grand. And I was like, really? No. But again, if it's me, it really depends, because if I caught like a really significant record-breaking milestone baseball or football for that matter, there's so much that I could do with it by auctioning it off. Remember the thing about Tom Brady's football?
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot, how that ended. But
I mean, like Aaron Judge's ball last year when he hit his number 62. If that's me, I can't sell it, Gary. I'm going to keep it, and I'm probably not going to keep it in my house, but I'm going to put it somewhere safe and put it in case it. It's just me, man. Just me. But Gary, man, it's been moving fast again, man. Another 30 minutes, man. Go ahead and take us home.
Yeah, look, we probably went over some, but we're talking about sports, so it's all good. There's a lot going on, again, when we leave here, tonight, you've got, I think it was a game 3, game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Friday night, you got game 4 NBA Finals. You've got the French Open wrapping up this weekend, and probably another golf major coming up next week. In the next week or so with the U.S. Open. There's probably something I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, Lionel Messi. How about him going to Miami?
That's the new pro sports town now.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind the Miami franchise in soccer in the MSL, they are pretty bad. So we'll see how that works out. But you got the Dolphins down there doing some good things. The Marlins, but it's starting, and the Miami Heat, of course. So it's starting to become a sports town, a big time sports town. So we'll see. I mean, I give a lot of credit to Messi, because Messi did not want to see a lot of people with his team he was playing with lose their money or have their contracts reduced. That's part of the reason why he moved on. So a lot of props to him for what he did. I mean, going to Miami, they're going to need a lot more than Lionel Messi if they want to win an MSL championship, but we'll see.
Yeah. But, with his presence stimulates interest, which puts butts in the seats, which gives them a little bit more money to work with and trying to get better talent. That's the way it's supposed to work. Anyway, folks, watch all the sports in the world. You can handle College World Series, softball. I forgot that. Baseball's World Series coming up in another week or so. Next time we talk to you will be a milestone for us. Be our 100th show. We're still planning some things about that, but in the meantime, watch sports. John, you all stay safe. Talk to you next time.
Hey, everybody, take care. Let me do one correction. I said MSL, it should be MLS. John Pitt just corrected me on that. Thank you very much, Pitt. You all have a good week. Enjoy yourself. Gary gave you a whole smorgasbord of sports to watch. Watch something. Even the USFL is on this weekend. Watch something. Come back and see us next week. Take care.